Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Real quick, this is a comment that was made by Vocab Malone. I'm going to call this "We Are Spiritual Men." Okay, this is from the video "Scriptures on Esau's Future Downfall." There was a comment put up by Vocab Malone, and it says in part, "I watched this as it broadcast live." Well, that's a good thing, so I hope you learned something. "I copied the chat comments as they included a desire to watch James White hang himself live." And this was put up by Northwest Juggernaut. What I'm going to say about that is we're supposed to be spiritual men pursuant to Romans, the 8th chapter. And basically, spiritual men deal with the spirit, which is the scriptures. You know, you have guys that say things that are outside the scriptures or give their opinion, which you get all into it and all that. You know, we're rough around the edges. But y'all out there, you got to deal with the scriptures, man. You know, point counterpoint. You know, someone makes a statement, you make a statement back at them with the scriptures. You know, when you deal with documents outside the scriptures, they have to be filtered through the scriptures. Like the subject of the Illuminati. How can the documents of the Illuminati be filtered through the scriptures? Well, you can go to Psalms 64, Psalms 10, and there's many other scriptures on that subject. All right. If someone comes up and says, well, God loved everybody, you might say, well, show me the scripture on that, and they'll say, well, John 3:16. Then you break down John 3:16 by going to other scriptures. You can go to Matthew's 10, 5, and 6. There's many scriptures that you can go to. You can go to Acts 5:29 to 31, and Peter, tells you that who the Lord came for. You can go to Luke 24:21, where Peter makes a statement that we thought that the Lord came for Israel. He didn't mention any other nation. So it's up to us that receive these scriptures to break it down to the masses. Now, this individual, Vocab Malone, I believe he's a Sicilian, which means he's most likely an Israelite. So our job is to win souls for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I use the analogy of a hunter and a fisherman. A hunter goes out and let's say you watch movies on Gad, before Esau came over here. They would get on horses and they would have bows and arrows or spears, and they would chase after the buffalo, and they would throw a spear at the buffalo or hit it with a bow and arrow until the buffalo fell down, and the rest of them would run. And that's how you hunt down those big animals like buffalo. Now, when you fishing, you don't take rocks or sword or bow and arrow and you throw it in the water and then you get fishes. You got a thing called spear fishing, but you got to be real quiet, and the fish got to be big enough. But anyway, when you capture a fish, because we're fishermen, Yahweh Shai told the disciples when he gathered them, he's going to make them fishers of men. So a fisher of men is someone that he's very quiet. He look for the opportunity, like a fisher, like somebody that goes fishing. He'll put the net in the water, and there'll be a number of fish around it, and they get caught up in the net. Now, if some fool took a rock or a boulder or dived in the water, what are the fish going to do? They're going to scatter. So basically, Vocab Malone saw an opportunity because he made the statement. He said he watched the whole live broadcast because he's intrigued, all right? And he saw this one comment where where this individual said that it'll be beautiful if this guy wakes up and James White hang himself, it was live on live, meaning do a video on it and hang himself. Well, what you did was you jumped into the water while we were fishing. Here we are, we see this big school of fish, and we got the net ready to get this big school of fish, and then here your simple ass decide to jump in the water, and all the fish scattered away. So that's what you're doing, man. You guys out there that follow us, because we have a lot of people that's not so-called in good standing with GMS, Great Millstone, that just follow us. They learn things. People have said that. I said I don't follow GMS, but I like this video or whatever. So this guy Vocab Malone is looking for an opening, to make us look like we're not true men of the Lord. And we are, whether you believe it or not, we are ambassadors of Yahweh, ambassadors of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So there's a certain way that you carry yourself. All right. Another thing, you make videos. There's guys that make videos of other Israelites, like Baloo. There's one video, brother put up Baloo, and made it look like he was wearing a dress. Well, we don't know that this man wears dresses, man. So, you're going off if you take an Israelite, a fellow Israelite, whether he's with us or against us, and put him in a dress. Now, if there's an actual picture of him with a dress, an actual picture where he's walking down the street with a dress on, and you put it up there and you say, well, this guy, look at this guy. This is an actual picture of this guy. And then you go to the scripture and prove that a man's not supposed to wear a woman's garment in Deuteronomy. So you guys are going to have to be a lot more professional, and you're going to have to stick to the scriptures. This is not a thing about having fun. All right. Although you have fun, it's good to have fun while you're doing it. In other words, you're enjoying it, but you have to be more professional, man. If you guys can't professionally go out there and teach this word, then you shouldn't be in this thing, man. The main thing we're supposed to teach, the scriptures speak about convincing the gainsayer. You go to the scriptures, you show them in the scriptures, and then either they accept it or they don't accept it. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.